Hi, and welcome to 647, 6 stories for 7 a.m. because, well, you know, there is a famine of truth in our land. And this is your quick news fix. And the truth starts now. And here's some truth in your face. You all let me make a fool of myself yesterday going on about, oh, it's hump day and the trajectory and all that. I don't even remember who dressed me that day, okay? But I consider it elder abuse when you let me go on and on and on and nobody, there's hundreds of people that listen to this now, right? Nobody texts me and says, hey, dipshit, it's Thursday. No, not one, okay? I'm not forgetting it. All right, take one. This is Trump, straight up. His words. I had a truly great meeting with President Xi of China. There is enormous respect between our two countries, and that will only be enhanced with what just took place. We agreed on many things, with others, even of high importance, being very close to resolved. I was extremely honored by the fact that President Xi authorized China to begin the purchase of massive amounts of soybeans, sorghum, and other farm products. Our farmers will be very happy. In fact, as I said once before during my first administration, farmers should immediately go out and buy more land and larger tractors. I would like to thank President Xi for this. Additionally, China has agreed to continue the flow of rare earth, critical minerals, magnets, etc., openly and freely. Very significantly, China has strongly stated that they will work diligently with us to stop the flow of fentanyl into our country. I mean, I cannot read this with a straight face, okay? I don't know why he says this stuff. Those people have no intention of doing any of that, not any of that. And he sets himself up like, look what I did. And they're not going to do any of it. Goodness sakes. They will help us end the fentanyl crisis. China also agreed that they will begin the process of purchasing American energy. In fact, a very large-scale transaction may take place concerning the purchase of oil and gas from the great state of Alaska. Chris Wright, Doug Burgum, and our respective energy teams will be meeting to see if such an energy deal can be worked out. The agreements reached today will deliver prosperity and security to millions of Americans if they don't bomb them to smithereens first. After this historic trip to Asia, I am now heading back to Washington, D.C. I want to thank the great countries of Malaysia, Japan, and South Korea for being so generous, gracious, and hospitable. Also, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam, who were at the dinner last night, hosted by His Excellency Lee Jae-myung. Hundreds of billions of dollars are being brought into our country because of them. Our nation is strong, respected, and admired again, and the best is yet to come. And not one person's been arrested yet. Okay, I got to talk also about Pete Hegseth today. He gave an unbelievable address to his officer corps, and he basically said, get ready. This military, under my authority, is all about lethality and training. No, these are his words, no more woke shit. We are going back to the military code of 1990. And if you're retired military, he gave an order today that you all have to listen to this speech that he gave. And it's saying, we're getting ready to be 100% war fighters. Okay, that's the only standard. So everything we've seen for the past 5 years stops. It's basically a preliminary call to quarters, and civilians better figure it out. And there are other stories in the stack here that are going to confirm that. All right, that's Trump back from Asia. It's a heck of a trip, but listen, China is a criminal organization. As a country, that 30% of their economy is straight up crime. Okay? They have no moral compass. So when you're talking about good faith deals, that doesn't exist. They're just placating you. So I'm not going to fall for it. Okay. This is from The Atlantic. Okay. They're all reprobates over there. They're as crazy and lefty as you want to be. So you got to take this with a grain of salt. But the basic information is important for all of you to know, because certain people are taking steps for their personal security that we can't. So we better figure out something for ourselves. Here we go. Top Trump officials are moving onto military bases. Stephen Miller, Marco Rubio, Kristi Noem, and others have taken over homes that until recently housed senior officers. So they got rid of a bunch of senior officers, and that freed up homes for these folks, right? This is all coordinated. So why would they do that? You should be asking. Let's go. The former White House advisor, Katie Miller, mother of 3 young children, wife of the presidential right-hand man, Stephen Miller, walked out of her front door on Thursday morning last month and was confronted by a woman she did not know. When she told this story on Fox News, she described the encounter as a protest that crossed a line. The stranger had told Miller, "I'm watching you," she said. This was the day after Charlie Kirk's assassination. It also wasn't anything new, meaning it's been going on for a long time. For weeks before Kirk's death, activists have been protesting the Millers' presence in North Arlington, Virginia, dark Blueville, right? Someone had put up wanted posters in their neighborhood with their home address denouncing Stephen as a Nazi who had committed crimes against humanity. A group called Arlington Neighbors United for Humanity warned in an Instagram post, "Your efforts to dismantle our democracy and destroy our social safety net will not be tolerated here." The local protest became a backdrop to the Trump administration's response to Kirk's killing. When Miller, the architect of that response, who is known for his inflammatory political rhetoric, the things we enjoy hearing and don't describe them that way, announced a legal crackdown on liberal groups, he singled out the tactics that had victimized his family, what he called organized campaigns of dehumanization, vilification, posting people's addresses. Ask Brett Kavanaugh. Ask Tucker Carlson, who has his front door kicked in with his wife and kids at home, and he's not there. Stephen Miller soon joined a growing list of senior Trump administration political appointees, at least 6 by our count, living in Washington area military housing, where they are shielded not just from potential violence, but also from protest. It is an ominous marker of the nation's polarization. They're not saying there's anything wrong with any of that. They're saying it's an ominous marker that he won't tolerate the protests, to which the Trump administration has itself contributed. In other words, we've caused this problem for all these people. These folks are nuts. They're all reprobates. That some of those top public servants have felt a need to separate themselves from the public. These civilian officials can now depend on the U.S. military to augment their personal security, but so many have made the move that they are now straining the availability of housing for the nation's top uniformed officers. All of a sudden, the Atlantic's worried about the top uniformed officers having housing. I doubt it. Kristi Noem, the Homeland Security Secretary, moved out of her D.C. apartment building and into the home designed for the Coast Guard Commandant on Joint Base Anacostia Bowling, across the river from the Capitol, after the Daily Mail described where she lived. Both Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth live on Generals Row at Fort McNair, an Army enclave along the Anacostia River, according to officials from the State and Defense Department. It's not called the Defense Department, liberals. Rubio spent one recent evening assembling furniture that had been delivered to the house that day. That strains credibility. Although most cabinet-level officials live in private houses, there is precedent for senior national security officials, including the defense secretary, to rent homes on bases for security or convenience. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll, whose family is in Washington, only part-time, now shares a home on Joint Base Myers-Henderson Hall, a picturesque site next to the Arlington National Cemetery. His roommate is another senior political appointee to the Army. When Driscoll moved in, his washing machine wasn't working, so for the first few weeks of his stay on base, he lugged his laundry over to the home of the Army Chief of Staff, General Randy George. Do you get this? Liberals make these comments because they're saying they're losers. They're doing their own laundry. They're putting furniture together from IKEA. They're a bunch of losers. Normal people don't think that way. Another senior White House official, whom the Atlantic is not naming because they have such high standards, because of security concerns related to a specific foreign threat, also vacated a private home for a military installation after Kirk's murder. In that case, security officials urged the official to relocate to military housing, according to people briefed on the move, who, like many others who spoke with us for this story, were not authorized to do so publicly. Probably J.D. Vance. When Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard's team inquired earlier in Donald Trump's second term about her moving on to McNair, it didn't work out for the space reasons a former official told us. Yeah, but now she's in the Coast Guard Commandant's place, which sounds like it's beautiful. All right, look, you got Hegseth addressing the military saying, okay, it's go time. Get sharp or get gone, right? You got Trump coming back and saying, okay, it's all good with China. Now you got this report of basically his whole cabinet now is not safe living in public in the United States of America. So they're living on military bases. And I can't think that they like that. And we look at these people and we think, well, a cake job, the rest of your life's taken care of. They got to get through this thing. And liberals are nuts now. They totally condone violence against the right. And they think the right has earned it. And now here's some more. Take 3, the Mamdani of Minneapolis is banking on a grassroots campaign to unseat the Democratic mayor. Okay, Minneapolis isn't lefty crazy enough. They are all reprobates up there. Now they're going to kick out the Democrat liberal mayor, who's plenty liberal, and put in a Muslim Marxist a la Zoran the Magnificent. Omar Fateh, a Democratic socialist, hopes to defeat Jacob Fry by focusing on affordability, wages, and public safety, right? These cats have learned the shtick. All the things all the lefty middle class want to hear, and then they get in and it's Sharia law time. So on a rainy October day, dozens of volunteers showed up at a Minneapolis park to grab campaign literature they would leave at voters' doors, hoping to buoy up a Democratic socialist into the mayor's office. A handful of door knockers ran into an apartment building to escape the rain, joining Omar Fateh, the mayoral hopeful, sometimes dubbed the Mamdani of Minneapolis. Who would have thought? We're running on a campaign to make the city more livable, affordable, and to protect all of our residents, he told one voter who said they hadn't been following the race closely. Two others who answered knew Fateh's name and lent their support. I think I might be planning on voting for you, one told Fateh. Minneapolis voters will decide their next mayor on Tuesday, November 4th. That's the end of the story, okay? But we're being taken over, folks. Whether you understand this or not, we're going full London, full EU, and this is fully funded by that troll, George Soros, who should not be allowed to walk freely in this country. Okay? This is a Soros-backed strategy that started 7 or 8 years ago. He began with the EU, and he promised them hundreds of millions of dollars if they would open their borders to unlimited immigration of African and Middle Eastern Muslims. And then he put up half the money from his funds, and guess where he got the other half? From United States NGOs a la our paychecks, okay? So all these EU people and guys like that goofball Keir Starmer, why do you think they have not been defending the hundreds of working class white teenage girls who have been raped over the last 5 years and they do nothing? It's because they've been paid off to do nothing. This is all about the money. These people need to go to jail. And you're going to watch it all in New York City. New York City is going to become London. It's going to be absolutely unbelievable. And everyone will be blinking there. We didn't know. Yeah, you knew. You knew. You're just broken-minded. You're reprobates. You can't figure anything out. Every intersection you get to, you choose the wrong way. All right, take 4, QRF. You get a lot of complaints about acronyms, you know. Guess what? You're going to have to deal with it. You need to learn this. QRF, all the military people already know. What are you going to say about it? Quick reaction force. A quick reaction force, right? So the National Guard will create a quick reaction force in every state, totaling about 23,500 troops that are trained in crowd control, civil disturbance, according to reports from a leaked memo. Who knows what the heck that means? And a QRF is not about crowd control and civil disturbance. It's about coming to people in dire need of help immediately and lethally. So again, you can't handle the truth. But if our military's been told by the Secretary of War, get ready or get out, okay? And if the president's cabinet is all living on military bases, and now if all of this, the National Guard in every state is given a directive to create a quick reaction force, they know what that means, and you better understand what that means, okay? It's not about crowd control. It's about stemming violence. A memo dated October 8 and signed by National Guard Bureau Director of Operations Major General Ronald Burkett ordered nearly every state, Puerto Rico and Guam, to train 500 guardsmen for the QRF. The Hill News outlet reported, that's it, less populated states like Delaware and Alaska will have 250 and 350 guardsmen ready to go as a QRF, respectively, while Guam will have 100 and Washington, D.C. will maintain a specialized military police battalion with 50 guardsmen on active duty orders, according to Task and purpose. The National Guard in each state must provide the inter-service non-lethal individual weapons instructor course and civil disturbance training, which includes courses on de-escalation, crowd control, handheld radio communications, body shields, batons, tasers, pepper spray, and public safety, according to the memos. Each state will receive 100 sets of crowd control equipment and 2 full-time guardsmen on active duty orders to manage training, equipment, and response, with commanders providing monthly updates. The aim is for the QRFs to be operational by January 1. Why? Why do we need QRFs everywhere? Trump cabinet's members are all moving to military bases. They're already there. Hegseth's speech today. There's an old black spiritual. People get ready. There's a train a-coming. You don't need no ticket. You just get on board. Guess what? For us, it's not about a train coming. It's about people get ready. People get ready. That means you, me. How can I explain this to you? Do you understand that Antifa has been trained by retired SEALs who have a gripe with our country? Do you want to know what it's going to look like? You're going to be sitting in your house and 2 SUVs are going to pull up on your street and 8 guys are going to get out in full kit and they're going to surround all 4 sides of your house. And what are you going to do? One of them is going to walk right up and knock on your door. And you're going to hope, like the best sheeple you can be, well, I'll just answer nicely. I'm sure it'll be fine. And you get 2 in the chest. And then they clear your house and they move on. That's what they've been trained to do. That's what your Democratic friends are saying. Hey, it's Trump's fault. Okay, so you need to have a plan. You cannot wait for that doorbell to ring and you answer it like, I got no clue about anything. Well, then you're going to own the outcome and it's going to be awful. Okay, so how are you going to defend your house? Where are you going to tell everybody to get to before bullets start flying? You can't imagine this, right? Lots of people who have been slaughtered can't imagine it. Nobody on the kibbutzes and all over the place in October 7th in Israel could imagine that anybody could get through their defenses. And inquiring minds want to know. And I believe at 6 o'clock tonight, Steve Bannon is interviewed somebody who just wrote a book about that. Okay? Listen, the unthinkable is going to happen, and wonderful things are going to happen. All of this is going to happen. Okay? It's not binary. It's going to be beautiful with rainbows and celebrations, or it's going to be a slaughterhouse. It's going to be both. So you want to survive to get to the other side, to the new dawning of America. And by the way, where the hell are the sheriff's departments in every single county? They're not saying one word. I even wrote a neighborhood plan and sent it around. Not one word. Not one word. How to organize the neighborhoods, just so your neighbors would know who's got arms and who doesn't, and what their phone numbers are, and do they have generators, and all of that kind of thing. No, not interested, not interested. Shut up. Okay? Well, I'm not shutting up, and I'm telling all of you, you got to get ready. All right. Take 6. Advanced Reprobate Mind Studies. It is Lamar Cook today. He is from the wonderfully dark blue state of Massachusetts, And no, he's not Asian. So Lamar works for the Massachusetts governor, Mara the Marxist Healey. Lamar is her deputy director of the Western office in the state. And guess what he did? He had 8 grams of coke delivered to his state office. Who knew you could do that? Staffer for Massachusetts governor fired after arrest on cocaine and gun charges in Springfield. A member of Massachusetts Governor Mara Healey's staff has been fired. Wow, I can't believe they do that to Lamar. After he was arrested on drug and gun charges, he's accused of having cocaine delivered to a state office building. Lamar. That's the respect he has for Mara. Lamar Cook was arrested after state police executed a search warrant at his office in Springfield Monday night. According to the Hampton District Attorney, Cook, 45, of Springfield, was the deputy director of the governor's Western Massachusetts office. Investigators said they seized about 8 grams of suspected cocaine during a delivery at Cook's office on Dwight Street Saturday. Police found Cook driving Tuesday evening in Springfield and arrested him. He's charged with cocaine trafficking and unlawful possession of a gun and ammunition. It's not over. Hampton District Attorney Anthony Gallooni said Cook's arrest is also linked to 2 suspicious packages that were seized at the Hotel UMass in Amherst on October 10th. Those packages had approximately 13 kilograms of suspected cocaine, and Lamar was going to pick him up there because he used to be the general manager there in 2023. Lamar, you were moving on up, man. And then what? Deliver cocaine to your former place of work? 13 and 8 kilograms to your current office for the governor. Well, this is what we say about the reprobate mind. It absolutely cannot make wise choices. And the Democrats are not making wise choices. They keep voting against the government startup, and they voted it down 13 times because they're waiting for this welfare money not to show up on Saturday. And if you look on the internet, there are posted, and paid for Black women saying, we're going to kill Whitey. There's one woman that was saying, not only am I going to kill y'all, I'm going to eat you. I'm going to eat you crackers, right? Most Black people don't think this way. Okay, the Dems think that all their old tricks are going to work again. I'm not saying there's not going to be violence on Saturday. Maybe there will be. Okay, Trump certainly knows what they're planning and why they keep voting down the government startup. Okay, number 5. Okay, I'm doing it out of order. Yesterday, I had the days out of order. This one has to be talked about. It's short. It's Owlgate. Owlgate. It's a follow-up with some info. Is there anything on the back? Yeah. Okay, so Senate votes to continue Biden-era owl killing plan. I can't believe that. I can't believe that would last a second. Louisiana Republican Senator John Kennedy has slammed the administration for opposing his legislation. The Senate on Wednesday shot down legislation to stop a Biden-era plan encouraging the killing of one species of owl to save another. That's not bad enough. It's that they've allotted $1.35 billion for this nonsense. And it's not about killing owls. This is, again, you're too stupid to understand. That's their message to us. We can't tell you the truth about this because you won't get it. The fight became bitter at times, pitting Louisiana Republican Senator John Kennedy against some of his colleagues and Interior Secretary Doug Burgum. Doug Burgum is a rational guy. Why would he be voting for $1.35 billion to kill owls? Inquiring minds want to know. Kennedy forced a vote on a resolution under the Congressional Review Act to nix a Fish and Wildlife Service plan to save the native and critically endangered northern spotted owl in the Pacific Northwest by killing non-native barred owls. The legislation failed 25 to 72. So 25 people voted against it, 72 voted for it. Why? Why? Kennedy says, I can't think of a rule that better demonstrated the arrogance, the hubris of the federal administrative state, Kennedy said from the Senate floor before the vote, flanked by voters of owls and the rifle-carrying cartoon character Elmer Fudd. This regulation is stupid, and we will live to regret it. The Congressional Review Act makes it easier for lawmakers to undo administrative actions, blah, blah, blah. Why? Kennedy said Burgum called him last week, urging the senator to withdraw his resolution. Kennedy refused, saying the secretary should call somebody who cared about what he thought. The Trump administration is supporting the Biden-era action under pressure from loggers, from the logging industry, right? Who say scrapping the owl killing rule could affect existing land use and in turn jeopardize GOP efforts to increase logging. Do you get the mafia work here? We want a $1.35 billion slush fund. That's the Dems saying, you give us that slush fund and we'll vote to let you do logging on public lands. It's just disgusting. And nobody tells you that. Nobody tells you that this is all an extortion game. And what are they going to do with $1.35 billion? They're going to have one guy out there with a 22 and they're charging $3,000 an owl, okay? And they're not going to kill 5 owls. They're going to take all that money and pay for rent-a-riots and all kinds of ways to disrupt the rest of Trump's presidency. Every one of these things is a boondoggle. So we're not a boondoggle. We're telling you the truth. I'm definitely getting old because I'm like, get off my lawn, you kids. Everything is pissing me off. So what can I say? This all irritates me. I'm sick and tired of it. Why doesn't anybody just stomp this out? Pam's not going to do it. I don't think Cash is going to do it. I think we need the military. The only guy who's talking the talk is Hegseth. He's the only guy who's saying it like it is. And we have an enemy in our midst. And their minds are broken. So they will do anything. And they're elites and affluent. And they believe they're better than all of us. And thank God for the remnant that prayed for an intervention on the 24 election. Otherwise, I'll tell you what, I'd be in jail. I know that. They track me down to J6 and then they go, listen to the mouth on this guy. Just lock him up. Okay, so I'm not locked up. So while I'm not locked up, I want you to like us, to share us, to make comments, and to push us out to your network. Keep pushing it. I haven't had the monthly meeting yet with Jess, but I'm hoping it's going to be better than 20% this time. So you're making it happen, and I'm going to make this happen. Dear God, you are Jehovah God, the omniscient God of the universe. You made every single one of us for relationship with you, and I'm asking you in the name of Jesus Christ to bless all these people. This is the show for Friday. I'm sure I screwed that up earlier. I apologize for that, dear God. Please forgive me. It's the Friday show. You made it through the whole week. I didn't, apparently. I couldn't even get all 6 stories in here from 20 feet away from my office. But you know what? Doesn't matter, Lord. You got your hand over it. I am just the flawed servant, the mailman. But bless these folks. You bless me all the time. Look at the train wreck I am. Go ahead and bless them. They're doing awesome work. And bless them right through the weekend. Thank you, dear Father. And thank you all for being a party to this. Take care.